Hello guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be doing a head-to-head against two Swedish hypercars, the Koenigsegg Regera and the Koenigsegg 1-to-1. Now I'll put the stats up. You can see the 1-to-1 is faster and also more expensive by 100,000 more. The Regera just seems slower and overshadowed by the 1-to-1, that's what I said. But is it really? Will it be able to defeat the 1-to-1 in this head-to-head? We're going to find out. We're going to start with the acceleration test in the Koenigsegg Regera. So now to start with the acceleration in the Regera, do the burnout and launch it. Now after driving it around and have driven it, I still do think it accelerates slower than the 1-to-1. But it does reach its speed quicker as it does have a slower speed of 255 miles per hour. Also, did you know this car doesn't actually have one gear? It should have one gear, but it has 6. Which kinda sucks. Okay. Hey. Nice. Well, the acceleration and top speed of the Regera, it's not bad. I just think it's gonna lose to the 1-to-1. We have to go get the 1-to-1 and see if it really will lose to the 1-to-1. So I'm gonna go get the 1-to-1 and do this test again. Alright, to test the acceleration on the 1-to-1, take off. And after driving both cars, I still do think this one has better acceleration. I mean, it does take longer to reach its top speed, but it is a higher top speed at 270 miles per hour. It is able to dance around 280, but it stays around 270 for the most part. This car has pretty good acceleration and top speed. I would say it wins the test over the Regera. Now let's head on to the handling test and see if the Regera can hold its own against the 1-to-1 in handling. Alright, for the handling on the Regera, let's get going. So you don't want to accelerate too quickly, but at the same time I have to see how it does around corners at high speeds. These aren't very sharp corners, but they're still a good test on what the Regera can do. And it handles really well for a Koenigsegg at least. It handles better than the 1-to-1 in my personal opinion. And for a car with high speed, it is pretty responsive. It'll go where you want it to go. Just takes some skilled driving that I don't have, as you can see. But in all seriousness, the Regera definitely handles really well for a more top speed car in ultimate driving. Let's go fetch the 1-to-1 and see if the 1-to-1 handles as good as the Regera does. Now for the handling on the 1-to-1. Let's get going. And it definitely does accelerate quicker. I mean, it's not bad. But here's where the problems start. The brakes lock up, and you're just not able to turn while braking. In the Regera, you are. And it seems we ran into a problem there. But in the Regera, you're able to get around corners while braking. The 1-to-1 locks up its tires though, and that just causes a problem for braking. It's good for when you need to cut to a complete stop, but getting around corners, it just won't do, because you can't turn too much. It'll just slide around the corners. It's not even good at sliding with just the brakes. Maybe with the e-brake. I haven't tested it, but for sure the Regera wins the handling test. The 1-to-1 can't hold anything to it in this test. Now on to the braking test. We're going to start in the Regera as per usual. To test the brakes on the Regera, so let's get started by taking off, turn onto the trees, and when we hit full speed, we slam on the brakes. Full speed, 250 miles per hour. Braking, and here we stand. It took some time to get to a complete stop. I mean, it isn't bad though. It doesn't lock up, and that's what makes it good to get around corners. But I don't know if it'll win the hard braking test like this one. I need to go get the 1-to-1 and test the brakes on that. So I'll see you when I get in the 1-to-1. Alright, we're back in the 1-to-1, ready to test the brakes. And no, I did not walk back, that's too long. of a walk. So let's get it up to full speed and slam on the brakes. So yeah, we reached our speed a lot farther, and you can just see like right up. Okay, my computer's graphics just went down, but if you were to look, the Regera is like all the way up there. So the 1-to-1 easily won the braking test. And now it's to go over who won, what are the car's strengths and weaknesses, and the final decision on which car won this head-to-head. Alright, now to talk about who won this head-to-head and why. So the Koenigsegg 1-to-1 has better top speed, acceleration, and braking. The Regera does have better handling though. Its acceleration is pretty good. I would say the 1-to-1 is better. Top speed, still worse than the 1-to-1. Honestly, the 1-to-1 wins this head-to-head due to it having more strengths than the Regera. The Regera, yes, is easier to drive with its better handling. You'll be able to get around turns better. But in the 1-to-1, you'll be able to stop quicker, get to your top speed quicker, and go faster than the Regera. And that's why I'm claiming this winner of this head-to-head to be the Koenigsegg 1-to-1. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.